Hello, she's Trixie and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We're on episode 167 today, and we are coming in to celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yay!
I am going to be attending a party that my mom's hosting this weekend for Valentine's Day.
It's called Galentine's Day.
Because we're celebrating with a whole bunch of girlfriends.
Yep.
And we're having our daughters come and stuff. But the thing is that the one condition is that you have to wear a heart. And I don't have anything with a heart, so I bought these. So I felt that you guys were owed to deal with this as well. That you guys deserved me having these bother me the whole entire video, because every single time you move your head, my head moves until these stop shaking, and it's very distracting.
And speak of distracting, there's a mirror across the thing that I can see these things in.
Oh!
So every time you move, I can see them over there and over here and in there. So, yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a fun video. Oh, maybe not.
This
thing keeps falling, so we're just going to try and get it without the stand.
It is just heart inception.
Yes.
But we are coming in today talking about Valentine's, talking about Valentine's crafts, talking about how to make this year fun when you really don't know what to do with yourself. Because my God, I feel like every single video we've been like, what was me? We don't want to do the thing that our channel's intended for. It is hard to do crafts. When in reality, it's just that life is putting so much on our plate that to find time to do the things that we love is hard, and this isn't the only thing that's getting cut out at this time in our lives right now. It has been insane to have health, and I mean, I even got summoned for jury duty to the federal court for Michigan in my local area, and like I would have to summon, and if I were to get summoned, it's like almost an hour drive one way to the location, and federal jury duty is 4 weeks long. We don't have two vehicles. There's so many things that just make it feel like nails on a chalkboard. I am fine doing my due diligence as a citizen of these United States and a citizen of Michigan to do that.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. It's just how it's like, if it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not that, it's this thing over here. Oh, you forgot about something that fell over, and when you heard something crash inside your closet 2 weeks ago, so when you open the door, it falls on top of you when you were just trying to go get shoes. Like, there's not one thing that isn't just making its way and bleeding its way into the next thing. And it feels so insane.
It just keeps piling on each other.
And I don't know why. I mean, I know that there have been times in my life where it's been like this, but it feels very concentrated. And it feels very petty. Because we had my father-in-law in for my son's birthday that we celebrated later in the month. Oh, excuse me.
At the end of January.
His birthday's like within the roughly just within like the first week of January, kind of. Well, no, his birthday is January 10th, and we celebrated it at the end of January because my birthday is January 9th. Me and him share kind of like a birthday in that way, and so from personal experience, knowing that a lot of people normally don't have a lot of funds to do stuff for birthdays around the time of Christmas, especially after Christmas. A lot of times, if it's before Christmas, there is always the decision to figure out if you can afford a gift, whereas afterwards there's normally not that much of a budget for gift giving. And so I just decided, and I wasn't really nervous about him getting a whole bunch of gifts because I knew that we as a family had already pre-planned that, but just for friends and stuff to feel like they were welcome, because there's always such a social convention that you have to bring something to come to a party, no matter how desperate I am to make sure that that's not a condition, especially
Right.
for my children. I will provide the gifts, just come celebrate, just make sure that he's not the only kid there. That's really
Yeah.
the only thing that I normally care about. But and grateful to the people that showed up. It was an amazing party.
It was good.
But when my father-in-law came into town to celebrate, he stayed with us, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then there was like getting one thing done bled into another thing, and within that amount of time, it was January, and then it bled right into February. It was within those 2 days. My husband's debit card was all of a sudden expired. Our Sam's Club membership was all of a sudden expired. Our the littlest inconveniences at any other time of like, oh, we forgot, let's go find the mail and get your debit card. Oh, well, we will just make, we'll figure out a way to re-update that. We don't have to worry about that right now. Well, we were shopping there for the party. He found out that he didn't have his debit card to use when he was out doing errands for the party. Like, every little thing that felt like it was just like let's just add this little bit of a thing that you would not have had to count on being disrupted. And that's why right now I'm not superstitious, but it has me like, I don't want to bring anything more into my life right now that could get like sidetracked or intertwined or intervened or something, because even though I know that those were all circumstantial and quite funny things that happened all at the same time, it was just one of those like, it's just piled on and it was insane, and it's just a lot. So we are just trying to now find our rhythm after having a couple of weeks of chill, and it still hasn't calmed down. The amount of bad news we have gotten in the last several days has just been keep the smile up. Oh, let's keep smiling. Oh, keep going. And it's just, this is why I have bobbles on my head, because, something has to be distracting me. But yeah, I don't know. It's just made it very hard to try to stay positive and focused and being able to be like, okay, I'm going to choose my happiness. I'm going to choose this moment. I'm not going to let it choose my emotion. I'm going to push forward and make a good decision. And, yeah, it's been rough. It's been insane. And I'm trying to work on a project right now, but let's see how far I get.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, because I'm going to continue with that.
I just saw her list.
So, yeah, I've decided that I'm not doing mosaics right now.
We were so committed last week. We're going to hold ourselves accountable for
I have tried all week.
It might have just been a
will
bad
say,
week.
No, I'm saying to myself, every day you gotta start on that thing so that people can see the progress that you're making. And every day I never picked it up. It's too much. It's too hard. And the only thing that it was just too much to think about. For me, it's a lot of counting and a lot of things, and I can't do that right now because I'm going through a health thing with my throat, and I am trying to figure out answers with the doctors and the therapists and all this, and it's been a whirlwind. But counting stitches, trying to figure things out, all that stuff is just too much for me at this point in time. So I'm going back to stuff I love. And the only thing that got me excited this week was going into my stash, finding a couple of those yarns that I've been wanting to work with, just having the scraps of yarn, just the smaller balls, to work with, and going for it. I'm adding them to white. I'm doing white and then those scrappy yarns, and I'm going to make myself a scrappy blanket, and I don't care what colors go together, what colors don't, because when you make a scrappy blanket, they all go together. So that's what I'm going back to. But at this time, I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning things that I never thought I'd hear from the doctors, and I'm learning how to cope with each thing as it comes, and try and figure out. I research. I love to research things when I find out what's going on. I always have been this way. If something happened to my kids when they were younger, I would make the doctors spell the diagnosis out, and I would go home and research. And I'm still doing that for myself now today. And so the other day I went to the voice therapist and I found out something, and I came home and I researched it, and I'm keeping track of everything in a notebook to make sure that I don't forget. It's all together in one place, and I write it down, and I've got it. I bring it to the doctor's office with me. If I need to say something or bring something up, I've got it in my notebook.
Yep.
If I don't need to just bring something up out of my notebook, then I've got my notebook to write in it when I get in the car what the appointment showed me this time. Mm-hmm. And I'm keeping track of, it's like a journal for my health. Mm-hmm. And so, and then any research that I find, I put into that notebook as well, so that I can keep on top of it. This next week when I go back to the therapist, I'm going to reveal what I learned, adjust what we thought, because we thought it was an accident when I was 13. It actually happened in 2020, and that's why I started going to the ENT in the first place. So it makes a lot more sense what I've learned. Mm-hmm. My words of this year are just keep going. And when I heard that in my head, I knew that was the right words. Because I knew that I was coming up on these appointments. I knew I was going to be finding new things to deal with. And so I just keep telling myself, just keep going, just keep going. You're going to keep going, you're going to keep finding things out, you're going to keep learning new things about yourself, and you're going to keep learning how to deal with what you have been handed to learn, handed to make part of your life. I'm not trying to be cryptic or anything. It's nothing, so far as I know, it's nothing like cancer or anything like that. We're still learning. We're still going through the testing. It's just things that I may have to learn from the voice therapist, how to deal with like my hoarseness and stuff like that. When it gets so bad that I can barely talk, and it does get that bad, I'm straining to even get the sound out. I don't want to be like that, and I don't want to lose the ability to talk to. Like I can write things down for Sarah, and she'd be able to understand it, but my grandkids ain't gonna be able to understand that. They don't know how to read. Or Olivia's learning how to read, but Candiel doesn't know how to read, and Olivia wouldn't be able to read the big words if I was to say bigger things.
And learning sign language is still just this huge daunting thing, and it's not saying that there's anything wrong with it, just it would be a very huge
undertaking for me at this age in my life,
or just everybody.
Yeah.
Not that it's not about you.
Yeah,
because it is about you.
But if it got down to the point where I lose my voice, which we have a very dear friend of ours who has lost his voice. He's in the end stages of throat cancer right now at the hospital, and they've only given him a couple more weeks to live, but he has lost the ability to speak. And that terrifies me. It has been a thing in my life. I have talked to the therapist about it, my voice therapist. I did talk to her about it the other day, and she just says that's why we're going to give you resources, and we're going to give you ways of learning how to deal with the hoarseness so that it doesn't get that far. And I'm like, that would be great. So this first one will be next Tuesday, and then that's an evaluation of my voice. After that, she will put that evaluation into the health insurance, and we're going to see how many appointments I can get to help me with this. And health insurance dictates everything.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to try and figure all this out. But that's why mosaics are so hard for me right now. As gung-ho as I was on this, I can't even fathom trying to do it right now.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that you're going to give it up. It's just not right now.
No, I just can't do it right now. And so I did start a scrappy blanket the other day, and
has it been healing?
I can do this all day long. I could do this. It's something I can do watching TV, and I don't have to worry about counting and stuff. So let me get a little closer here. I started off with this really pretty variable reds. It goes, I don't know. It's almost like an ombre, but it's very, very subtle changes in the reds. And I'm pairing everything with white. And then I went into this mandala. And so that's where I'm at right now. So the mandala is very pretty. And then the next color after the mandala, because that's like getting down there small, is my black light. And so I will be dealing with this next. And see, the balls are only about this big. And then I'm just pairing them with white, and it's going to go all the way through, and it'll just make a beautiful blanket. And I'm just trying to get that back in my bag. So trying to just do something with my hands to keep my mind off things. Although this is easy for me to do, it does keep me from thinking as much as it would. If I wasn't doing this, I would be thinking, and it would not be a good kind of thinking. It would be, let's travel down this road, this road, this road, this road, and that's not good for anyone. When you start going down these roads in your mind, it hardly ever turns out that way. And so we need to go with what we are told, what the test results are, and then just keep going from there. And so I am back doing what I love to do. I love making blankets. It's just been one of my things ever since, last 15 years, I think. Is maybe longer than that, maybe 20. I have been making blankets for a long time, and it's just been
quilts too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Going into that. So I have a love for home and cozy and blankets and all the things that speak of just home sweet home. That's my thing. And so I love being with my family, love being with my grandkids, love being cozy and cuddled up underneath a blanket on a cold winter's night. And you know, we're in the depths of winter right now, and so we're just doing what we can to get through to spring. But having fun parties like I'm gonna do this weekend with my gal pals, and you know, with the granddaughter and all the things. You know, you have to have fun, and in the midst of all the troubles, it just makes sense to just throw yourself into something fun, and that's what I wanted to do. And so yeah, that's where I'm at. So what are you working on?
I'm trying. Okay? And I blackmailed myself into this.
Being very cryptic.
So I had wanted to offer the kids up into an idea of making something for their teachers.
Oh.
With the idea that mommy and them could make something, like make them a toy or make them something where they could gift it via me.
Yeah.
Like they could order something from me, have
Right.
me make it, give it to the teachers. And
For like the end of the year, or?
it was supposed to be for Christmas originally.
Okay.
But then I was like, okay, I'm not getting that done.
Right.
And that's fine. And the thing is that, like, with Olivia's teacher's theme animal for their classroom is squirrels. So I was going to do, like, a squirrel. And then, like, with the teachers for Caniel's class, he has 2 of them, their theme seems to be gnomes.
Oh, nice.
So it was one of those, like, okay, I can do gnomes for both of them and do a squirrel for, you know, Olivia's teacher. But I just didn't get to it. But it's Valentine's. And they're supposed to pass out Valentines to their class, but they could to their teachers as well. Because the teachers normally get them something as well. And so I was like, how about I make your teachers a bear, each one of them a bear, and then you could choose what color heart the bear is holding for the teacher. And they thought that was a great idea. And I was like, that will get me focused on getting on starting on projects again. And then I chose a yarn that you can't see this. You can barely see the stitches on, because the fur, because the blanket material kind of bleeds into one stitch into the next, so it almost is like as invisible as like black yarn.
Yeah, working with black is difficult unless you pair it with another color.
So there's that. So I was like, ooh, we'll make it fluffy and make the heart more acrylic. Unless I find a red in this. And I was like, well, that would be cool. I don't know what I was thinking. All these little balls I've made are just supposed to be the feet. I haven't even made a full bear yet. Caniel's party is tomorrow. Olivia's is Friday. But Caniel's has 2 teachers. And you would think, oh, Sarah, you've done harder things before. You can make... Yeah, when I'm hyper-focused on it. You want to know what I'm hyper-focused on right now? My book. I need answers.
Sarah, if you can't get it done, you've got all those keychains.
I know, but I told the kids that I was going to do this. So it's one of those things where it's like
Make it for the end of the year, okay? And just let them pick out a keychain for their teachers. They're already done.
I was thinking... I don't know. We'll figure it out. I will figure this out. It's just one of those, I'm irked with myself. And I know I'll be fine. I will see how far I get. I can always, you know, what you just said, I can always use that as like some sort of backup. But I don't like that. I don't like having the backups. But it's one of those, I get it. I'm trying to push myself out of a slump, but I don't like the feeling of having disappointed / made a promise to the kids that I can't keep. It's not a
that
pleasant.
Is hard.
It's not pleasant. Yeah. I don't like expecting them to understand where I'm at when they are children and they don't understand the weight of everything that's going on. They just understand how they feel, and it's not that they're selfish, it's just that they cannot empathize with an adult's burden when they have not been an adult themselves. They can only empathize through their own life experience and what their little lives have shown them hardships look like. And so it's one of those things of just like, just see how far you can get, Sarah. Just see how far you can get. But I just want to sit and read. I just want to sit and read. And it's just exhausting. It just is. I think there's just a level of a need for escape that from how crazy life is right now. Because out of everything that I've already shared with you guys, Olivia 2 weeks ago sprained her ankle, and now this week she is again out of school because she is beyond sick. They don't know what's wrong. Took her to the urgent care because she could not sleep the night before because she was coughing so bad. Her lungs are apparently fine, which I'm grateful for, but it's like, we don't even, but the mucus that was causing her to cough because she was leaning on one side bled into her ear and caused an infection. And because she has tubes in her ears, it's just pouring out. And so, and I'm not trying to be disgusting, but it's one of those like, she literally just slept on one side and that's all it took for the mucus to inflame her ear in one night. So it's like, well, we don't know what's wrong. Took her to urgent care just to have her throw up because her body's so overwhelmed.
And she said she did it in a garbage can. I didn't get it on the floor, Nana.
I know.
So, poor thing.
Yep, and you know, it is what it is. Kids get sick, but it's just like it's Valentine's week. Her school normally does an event where they take them to go do an activity, you know, like bowling or something. She wants to go. She did not get to go last year to bowling either because something kept her home as well. I remember because they paid me back. Today, even with her in the car sick, I brought everything to school. I brought her Valentine's box with all the Valentines in it listed out. I made sure that she had all the payments done for all the things that she needed, including the activity, because I was just like, this is in good faith that she's going to be able to go get this done because we have medicine and it's going to do its job and she's going to be okay. But I'm also just sitting there being like, she just can't catch a break. Because on top of everything that happened a couple weeks ago around the party, she was about to be able to initiate one of her Christmas presents from from some of the grandparents that were going to pay for her to go to gymnastics, and I was signing her up for it the same day that she twisted her ankle
in class.
I had to explain to her after she was like, so did you? I said, baby, yeah, but until it's healed. And them just being like, yeah, it's going to be it could possibly be a longer heal time than a broken bone, depending on how bad it was. And we can't tell how bad it is.
So that would bring us up to April.
And that's only if it doesn't heal great. Yeah. She's doing great. And I know that kids heal faster. You can definitely tell there's still something wrong with her ankle, but it's one of those, she just keeps being like, I really want to do this, and I'm like, and then she gets sick on top of it, and I'm just like, baby, I know you want to. There's a lot of things that mommy wants to do right now too. and we have to do the things that we need, even though there's things that we want.
Yeah.
And when we have to do the things that we need, it really stinks when you have a lot of things that you want. Which is why with things like this, it's like I'm trying to do it for the kids. But the need to escape, the need to just... Because, oh, by the way, I washed my only pair of Bluetooth headphones in the washer by accident. Twice. So the one way for me to listen to podcasts so I can make this something enjoyable out of the window. Because every little thing that could just happen has been happening. I don't know who this is for. I feel like all we're doing is just talking about all the bad things that are happening in our lives, and we're not trying to. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's so frustrating when we have a passion for something and we can't even feel it because everything is invading the space that we've carved out for this, because it feels like there's such a demand for our attention that life is mad that we had it somewhere else. And it feels like someone's jealous and is doing everything to sabotage what we want to do because, well, your attention should be on me, so I'm going to throw a tantrum so that you can't enjoy what you want to do. It's what it feels like.
Right. So
I would know. I have children that have thrown fits last couple of days, so.
With that, we have a quote. And it kind of comes in right along with what we were just saying, but we didn't have any idea that that was going to happen at the beginning when we chose this quote. It is, "We are here to help one another along life's journey." And that was said by William J. Bennett. We are here to help one another along life's journey. And if this is you that we're talking to, let us know. You know, we're going through it with you. And you're not alone. And so just let us know. Start a comment. Let's talk to each other.
And I think there's a reality that in my own personal experience, so you're talking about physical therapy with your throat, but I've gone through actual therapy and still do for many different things. But one of the things that he has expressed to me is that we have kind of like modes in our brain that we rely on. So one is like called the what are all of them? It's like the child, the adult, something else. I cannot remember what it is, but they are a part of our brain in which we feel things. So when we're in our childlike brain, we tend to feel very happy, or we tend to feel very deeply. So like pain, like betrayal or things, because when we're a child, those emotions are something that you feel almost very raw. They're very intense, whether it be happiness or sadness. They are in a very intense emotion when you're a child, because you have nothing to like kind of balance it out with experiences of life, so they are just extreme. And that's why like kids can be very hyper and they don't think about how that can have effects on them. You know, they just go for it. Even whether it's even big emotions, like my son got really frustrated this morning and he just went for it. He just let it take him where he wanted to go, because he couldn't think outside of it because it was just so big. And they talk about the fact that that's a part of ourselves that we feel very intensely, and normally that is our child size, the part that we feel most happiness, where we're so giddy that we just want to have some fun and we want to be spontaneous and we want to do different things and we're just kind of like happy and go lucky and hyper. That tends to make us feel like a child.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Just the same as when we're hurt and we're just like, why can't we get out of this? It makes me feel like a kid because I can't get myself to stop crying. I can't get myself to stop, like, you know, we liken it to that time in our life when those things were always so big and freeing or trapping.
Right.
That as an adult, we seem to have a little bit more control over it. And so when we let it go, it tends to be like a child part of our brain. There's 3 different parts that were equated to this. I cannot remember the third one, but the adult part of our brain is where it is like a problem-solving part of our brain. We tend to be able to communicate. It's a part of our brain that kind of is the negotiator. Kind of puts us in a very specific headspace where we get things done. And I can't remember what the third one is. It's going to drive me nuts. But maybe I'll remember next week and tell you. But where I'm getting with this is that I was talking to my therapist about this, and I was like, when I'm with a very specific friend, one of my like my best friends, if they are in a really sad headspace, or they are trying to deal with something that's really big, sometimes the one thing that they want is, they don't want to be in that headspace, and so they ask about my day to offer up the floor to me to be that vulnerable, because I've been in the adult headspace where I've been the communicator. I've been the one to help them problem solve and work through it.
Right.
That the only way for them to get out of that headspace is to give themselves over to being able to not have to think about themselves and everything that's going on with their life.
Yeah.
And so they ask, what's been going on with you? I've been talking about myself. Is there anything that you need to get off your chest? And that opens up for me to not have to problem solve and give over to me being able to think about my life and be able to offer that up to have a space to do it. And he said, he was talking about a very specific best friend of mine. He's like, you two have naturally created this space where when one of you is low, the other one always asserts that position of help, of being having the adult head, while the one person's like that. And then you flip, and you flip, and you flip, and you flip. Very rarely do I ever hear you guys ever be in a situation where you're both.
Right.
Without it being like happiness. You're both happy and you want to be spontaneous. Or you're both in adult mode and you're both problem solve, but you're looking at one problem external from you guys together.
Right.
If it's together and you're both sad, normally one of you decides to push through and make it to the top and do it, because that's always been a natural thing for you guys. It's a dynamic that you guys have naturally taken. He's like, and I'm very grateful for that, because that means that you guys have this rhythm of not you guys give each other room to not be stuck in your emotions, but you don't get stuck in acting like your emotions don't matter. You don't get stuck in your problems like a child would, but you don't get stuck in this motion of rationalizing everything where emotions don't matter. You guys have a good balance, and you guys help each other balance each other out. When it becomes too much, you give over to the opportunity for the other person to be the adult, and be in that brain. And he's like, because the only way to ever get out of that headspace is to switch over. You switch the flip and give yourself over to that. And I feel like that's something that I feel with this is like, we are here to help one another along life's journey. It's not just the idea of picking up the yoke and being with somebody, realizing that if you're on that journey, you're helping them along with their success. You're feeling their pain. You're feeling their success. You're feeling when they get something done. Everything is equally felt. It's the fact of I know that when I'm struggling with the way that life is, the easier for me to be able to be like, I'm overwhelmed by everything that's going on. It's not that I want to be everyone's problem solver, but being able to be in a relationship with a friend, especially, that is able to be like, okay, here's your moment to vent. Here's your space to have that ability to get that out. But then you can go back.
Right.
It gives me that ability to be able to upchuck so that I can go back to the space that feels like it's not so crazy. That I can think through life's problems without it pulling me down.
Right.
Into that very vulnerable headspace all the time, which makes it hard to be the adult.
Yeah.
And I think that there is such a value to having friendship and being able to get that sort of stuff done. And it's one of the reasons why celebrating Valentine's, not only with your loved ones and your partners, but also with friends that have helped you along the way, is so important. So as we celebrate not only our children being able to go have fun with their friends, which is how they spend Valentine's, but even as adults, we choose to spend Valentine's, not just with our significant others, but with our friends.
Yeah.
We hope that you find a way to be able to recognize that, whether it be through us and being able to hear our problems and how life just is kind of crazy, but recognize that when you're in that headspace, it's okay to find somebody that can help you along, and that person that really cares will be able to have that space to be able to help you work through it just as much as you would be willing to do it with them. It's okay to need help. Don't get stuck burying it down, because then you're stuck not being able to actually be able to see how to deal with it. You're just hiding it under the rug, and that's not a long-term fix.
Right.
You're gonna trip. So as always, we hope that you've enjoyed this video and know that it's not our normal presentation. We've just kind of been a little bit nuts this beginning of the year, but we're grateful for you to be on this journey with us. Hope that you hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends.
Yep.
We appreciate anything and everything that you guys will do to interact with us, as we always enjoy interactions with you guys.
Yeah.
But as always, we hope that you had a good week, and until next week, we hope that you stitch your way
To mental health.